Thank you for joining, those of you who could join. We have Raymond here with us today. He's an alumni from the course. He studied MA Service Design from LCC in 2018. And currently, he's the course manager of the Service Experience program at Nanyang Polytechnic. And today he's going to share his journey from MA Service Design to being one of the leading figures of service design in Singapore.
Thank you so much.
Over to you, Raymond.
Okay, so good. Now it's morning over on your end.
Yeah.
Yep. So good morning, everyone. I'm Raymond. Okay. Very excited to be here to share with you some of my experience. So I'm going to share with you some of my experience when I was doing my MA, and then some of the things I'm doing right now, and the things that I've been doing since I returned from the course. So along the way, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. I want to keep this quite casual. Okay, I'll be sharing my screen. Give me a moment. Okay, so you should be looking at my screen. Okay, so this is the picture that I took when I was there. So I believe it looks a little bit different now, but it was very interesting for me during that time, especially the period of time where they have this the show that's going on, Emergence. So then it can relate very much to what I'm doing at the point of time, which is service design, and over in Singapore. We are really just starting this practice, and it's still growing. So I thought this would be a nice picture to kickstart this sharing. This is my class of 2019. Fantastic people over here. They come from all over the place, from Canada, from Ukraine, China, Thailand, and myself from Singapore. We have great fun, and really miss everyone then, and we are still in contact, and some of them are really doing very well. So I share one of the modules that I did during my time over there, which is the Service Experience Design for Social and Corporate Innovation. So this was a project that commissioned by HUK. We are really looking at how to support the elderlies, or people who are growing older during that period of time. So we went to Lambeth, and we did a few exploration. So this was really interesting for me because all of us are foreigners, and then we went to a place that we are not familiar at all. So what happens is that we need to talk to people. People may find us strange, asking them strange questions. And I thought it was really a good experience in terms of really going in with a very open mind. And then talking to people, and the people are also very open to talk to us. But some of the challenges that we faced was really the term that we used. When we talk about elderlies, everyone would just run away from us. So some of the things that we learned is that the term used has to be very sensitive when engaging people. And then we went to do a few research. So this is one of the longest projects that we did, and it's very intensive. The focus is really on exploration. The other modules that I love a lot is the futures design. And futures design is something new at a point of time, and it really allows our imagination. And one of the companies that we were working with then was with Jamie Oliver and company, and we went down to take a look. And we are really looking at how can we address the fast food culture in UK, and children, especially the lower income children, they are really exposed to fast food, and it was very detrimental to their health. So our job is how can we look into the future in terms of how fast food can be for them, and also provoke their kind of thoughts in fast food. So together with my fellow classmate in our team, we came out with this, the white burger. So the approach is that we want to make it not so appetizing for the eyes visually. So we took away all the colors of the burger together with the rest of the stuff, and to make it visually not appealing to the users. And then the focus was on how can we break it down into a point that we want to discourage consumption of fast food among kids. And we did, I don't even call this a mock-up. This is an actual burger. We painted it white, and then we have an exhibition in class, and then we invited people to come and engage this. Nobody ate it because it's spray painted, but it's really to bring the message across that fast food is something really not good for you. How can we cut down on this consumption? So that was the future of food. During my time at UAL, apart from the class work, we also participated in design fringe workshop, also visited RCA shows, and also took out some of the classes, for example, General Assembly. So why I'm showing this is that because I want to share that your experience should go beyond what is in class, and you can actually gather a lot more inputs and enrich your knowledge through all this interaction. We also participate as the participant and facilitator for the Semango workshop. This was spearheaded by Cordula together with my classmates. So we went into as participants, but within the groups we are leading in the workshop. So it was really helpful in the sense to grow our competency in facilitation and also to engage people. Reason is not a lot of people understand the approach of service design, and the terms that we use can be quite confusing for them. So that was really a nice touch point for us to interact with people and then share with them what we know, and also gather inputs from them. How can we make it easier for them to understand the approach of service design, collaboration design, and how they can play a part in that? So this was some of the things that I have done during my time in UK. So for my final year thesis, this is something that I formulated over my research, and I thought it'd be interesting to share with everyone here how I put on these three things together. First, speculative design. How can we envision the future? How can we create the probable future that we envision it to be based on data and statistics and our imagination? Then comes the strategic design. This will really be about the business aspect of it, right? How can we then apply strategic design into this equation? Making it more business-centric, making it more profitable, and making sense. The business profit, it can also apply to social organization as well as government agencies. And then we have the next one, which is the service design. How can we make the intangible tangible? How can we then connect people together using service design? So this became my framework for my final year project, and then it's really creating value for the different stakeholders. So we talk about behavioral change, envisioning the future, and also the creating experience. So this is my final year project. I am an educator. Before joining the MA, I'm still an educator. So my interest was really into service design education. And my focus is on youth who are in 17 to 20 years old. How can we engage them to be interested in this practice? So this is what I came up with, and I envisioned there's a diploma in service design for this category of users, and how to make it simple enough for them to understand and apply it, given of their young age and their maturity level at that point of time. So I took this, I interviewed close to 50 participants. The challenge was I was doing this remotely. During the time it was COVID, so we can't move around. All we can do is through Zoom. The graphic at the bottom, that is what I've been doing. And then I wanted to show that the whole process is non-linear, right? You're always doing different things. You might be doing the double diamond in a single context, and you're testing as you're discovering, and you are defining, and you're developing the concept all at the same time. So that was a process that I've been through, and then I came out with this intervention. So I came back, I finished, I came back, and then I actually put it into practice where I engage my students for this, or some of the intervention that I came out with. So I wanted to share this apart from academic and studying. Some of the things I enjoy a lot is the food in UK. And if you have not been, this is one of the most amazing fish and chips, Master Superfish. I really like it. It's fantastic. You should try if you're there. Then the next one is the 80 stones. This is a stone throw away from our uni. Fantastic coffee, very nice mocha and croissant. You can take a look and try it. And of course, Thunderbird fried chicken is really nice. So you should go and try if you have time. So unfortunately, COVID hits in 2019, and then, but fortunately, we have completed our other modules except for the final year project. So the final year project, we have to do it remotely, and then I have to fly back to Singapore. So this is Singapore, a tiny island country. And then this is where I'm working right now. So I'm a lecturer at Nanyang Polytechnic, School of Design and Media, and I'm also leading the Service Experience Design Co-Lab. This collaboration lab is to engage adult learners as well as the companies and organizations in Singapore to promote service design. So I want to share a little video of the co-lab that we've built out at Nanyang Polytechnic. So let me know if you can hear the volume, any sound. Is there sound? Is there sound?
No, we cannot hear the sound.
Oh, just a second.
So while sharing your screen, you have to select share audio from your computer.
Okay, just a second. Okay, there you go. Okay. Okay, you should be able to hear.
Yes.
So this is one of hotels that we did a service experience workshop. And This is one of the commercial laundry services, SME, a small medium enterprise in Singapore. We bring them through design thinking first as a basic fundamental before they go into the service design part of it. So it was still COVID, that's why it's done remotely as well. Then we talk about job redesign. This was slightly post-COVID really, where we can engage them face-to-face. One of our partners is OCBC Bank. This is where we work together to share some of the best practices, and they are also co-developing and delivering a workshop together with us. Okay. So once I came back from my studies, so I continue with what I'm doing, and I'm also advocating service design within the school, and then I was engaging my colleagues who are from the admins and supporting services to go through this service design workshop. This is a 4 days workshop where we came together, brainstorm, ideate, and also develop interventions based on their discoveries. One of our partners and our clients is Novotel Singapore and Stevens. This is one of the projects that we do together with them, really collaborative. This, what you see are the heads of departments of the hotel, and also the GM is also involved, where they came together to understand how they can innovate in the post-pandemic era. Hospitality was hit badly during COVID, and now they're emerging out from this pandemic. How can they reinvent themselves? The clients and the guests they have suddenly change. What can they do? So we bring them all together and then see how they can redefine the hotel experience. So this is another video that we did. So I thought it might be interesting to share the process of the service design. So let's take a look. So as a team, right, how might we together take this bed, right, and turn into a nice, clean, and bed. So this is the GM. Yeah. So we're really making them doing what the housekeepers are doing to empathize with them. Factory. So we need this trolley from there to pull through the back. Right? So they did the service blueprint for the different departments. And they start the idea and do service prototyping, how they envision the future. And they're doing prototyping, really low fidelity, but we are really understanding how the user is going to interact with their ideas.
A lot of out-of-the-box kind of thinkings were thrown to us to explore further, and in very innovative way of learning.
It's also a chance for us to get to know each other department's challenges faced. So I believe it's a very enriching session.
It's an opportunity to enhance quality of our services. But at the same time, it gives an opportunity to our teams to develop themselves.
Okay, so the next project I want to share is the one that recently completed. This one is with the government agency, Infocom Media Development Singapore. This is not so much of customer facing, but employee experience. The project is interesting because we are looking at internal service delivery, how they can improve their employee experience, especially for new employee on board with them. So how that they came up with a new buddy systems to see how new employee can quickly come on board and understand the company approach and culture. So they came up with interview and testing of the prototypes, things like this. So it was a very nice project together with them. So I'm also part of the Service Design Network Singapore chapter. In 2018, we started the Singapore chapter, and this project was done in 2021, yeah, straight after I returned from UK, and then together with Majority Trust, Charity Trust Organization, and IDECTO, which is a service design agency in Singapore, we came together to kickstart and did an open innovation challenge, and really looking at youth mental well-being and how we can use service design to see how we can help them with it. So the open innovation challenge was really nice. We have quite a number of participants from quite a number of places, and I think it was heartening to see how everyone is doing it to look into the suicide cases, especially in the post-pandemic, was increasing. So many of the participants are youth themselves, so we can really hear from them what they were experiencing at a point of time, their challenges, and they are also coming up with solutions to address them. So this was very nice. So that's it. That's my sharing, and I would like to invite you to connect with me. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond, for sharing. It was very insightful.
Thank you.
We have a question from Alex.
Hi, Raymond. Thank you very much for sharing. As Annie said, it was really interesting. I have a question about things like the Novotel course that you've done, and I assume you've done many similar things. How do you measure their impact on the organizations that you deal with, and kind of do they change this like strategy long term? And how do you know?
It is still ongoing. So right after we finish the workshop, they have some plans in terms of their implementation. How do we measure the impact? Actually, it's getting a buy-in from the employee. And after the workshop, what we have seeded the idea of innovation within the organization. So what happened is that now they have a department, they have an innovation lab. They started an innovation lab to promote innovation among their staff. So while we do not have a direct impact to their profits, but we have a direct impact to the culture that they are building. And then this is one of the areas that the company is actually driving innovation among the hospitality and in the hotel.
Interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Damien?
Hey, Raymond.
Hi.
Thanks for sharing. I
Thank you.
wish I had met you in Singapore
Sure,
and knew about you
should meet
earlier.
up.
Yeah. I'm hearing like a lot of your work is in like advocating for service design, and I was curious, like what are some of your favorite ways you've been explaining service design to both students? Because students in the poly are like, yeah, you're mentioning 17 to 19 years old, like they're still quite young, and whether how you explain service design to like younger students is different from how you explain service design to, say, potential industry partners who might be interested to work with Nanyang Poly.
Okay, for students, it's actually quite easy. Why is it so? Because they are quite open, and they are receptive to this term service design. Cause they will want to look into how they can improve people's lifestyle. So they are receptive when we share with them this approach. So for example, the open innovation that we did, their aim point is not so much to learn service design, but to learn how they can create an impact for their target audience. So learning by doing, or doing by learning, doing by learning. So through that process, then we share them their realization that what you're doing is actually service design. For companies, it's a bit different. For companies, if I go in and share with them, oh, service design can do this or that, the buy-in will not be so high. So what we do is that we go in with the notion of innovation. So a lot of companies, they are looking for innovation, but they don't have an angle to go in to do innovation. So we sell them by saying, hey, are you interested in innovate? And if you're interested, what can we do together? So collaborative design is something that they'll be more interested to look into, which is part of service design. And then through the whole process of service design, right, then they also realize that, hey, what you're doing is actually service design. So we always do the approach of realization rather than prescribing them what is it about. The success rate is quite high. Yeah, you can try it if you are interested.
Thanks. I have kind of a follow-up to that. If someone were to ask you then, like, what is service design to you today? How would you, how would you say, like, respond to that?
I always use the classic example. I think you guys will also know the two coffee shop. Coffee shop selling exactly the same thing. What makes you walk into one and not the other? Right, and surprisingly, companies they understand their logic pretty fast, and it also depends on which companies that you are engaging. Usually, we will focus more on service-oriented companies, so hospitality, healthcare, retail. So these are the companies that are easier for us to gain entry. Those are not so, those are more product focused and things like this, manufacturing. While we can go in, but it will take a little bit more effort to do that. Another industry is the finance, the banking. If you are not known, most of the banks in Singapore has already embarked on this journey of service design. They may call it some other things, but what they are doing is actually service design. So we can use that as a leverage to explain to them, hey, do you know why today's banking is so different from the older days, the more traditional days? Yeah, then they can catch on quite fast. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks for sharing.
No problem.
Yeah.
I have a question as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you have also studied this course, you know that this course is focused on social innovation primarily.
Mm-hmm.
And now that you are working with mostly corporate stakeholders and partners, do you think there is a gap or like how is your experience different? And like, did you have to sort of develop some other skills in your journey?
I think we are always developing new skills, and every time we deal with different companies, organizations, or industry sectors, but we usually talk about profits. And profits can be in different forms. Let's say in the social organization, is usually about fundings, right? It might not be a direct profit, but through that work that you've done, can it attract fundings for them? Right. Then for commercial, straightforward is a profit and loss thing. You have to show a direct impact to the P&L. Then you have the government agency. The government agencies are also profit driven, but in terms of perhaps its efficiency and effectiveness of the work that they are doing. So profits in different forms, but you have to engage them in that area that are most interested at that point of time. But the approach is generally the same. If we apply human-centered design to it, it is always the same. And that is always our angle when we talk to them. Who are you designing for? What is this for? And it always leads to their user. It can be their customer, their stakeholders, or their internal employees.
Thank you.
So I have one more question. It's kind of related to this, the latest one. Earlier you mentioned that when you reach out to potential industry partners, you use the angle of innovation, and that you find more success using that language instead. In your opinion, why does, like, what is this thing around innovation that at least companies in Singapore are interested in? Like, why do you think, like, what are they really looking for? And why do you think innovation works in bringing the design into these organizations?
Almost all the companies that I talk to or I work with, innovation is something that they always wanted to do. Reason why is that it allows them to propel forward and stay abreast of things, and also differentiation from their competitors. However, innovation seems to be something that is very tough to do. And most of their employees are into operations. So they want to do innovation so that they also want to grow their internal stakeholders' competency in terms of, we shouldn't be always doing the same thing. How can we do differently to get ourselves better? So most of the companies will want to do innovation, but in different forms. And this is how we can engage them. Of course, for newer companies, we will not dare to go in and say that we're going to even innovate your company to be the next Tesla or anything like that. No, but we're going to go in really small. Okay, maybe we look into, for example, your employee experience. Start small, but really have certain impact, success story that they can develop on, and then they push on. For example, Novotel, we had started the journey with them in 2018. Now, I think about 5 years, now they have established an innovation lab. So it is a long haul for service design, and you really have to be committed in engaging your stakeholders and your clients. Yeah. Before they see the profits that this is something I want to invest further in.
I think, like, I have a question which is very similar. I don't know what is the level of awareness about service design in Singapore, but then coming from India, it's an emerging field in India, and not like everyone knows about it. People are slowly getting aware about service design. So I like your angle of using innovation as a way of interacting with different partners. Are you able to create awareness back on to service design? after you start with innovation, but then does it like end with service design, or like, like are you able to create awareness about service design?
What we do is that we use our project, right? We use our project to promote and to showcase service design. Unfortunately, a lot of companies, they need to see something tangible. While we are promoting service design, and service design is usually intangible, you can't see and feel experience in service. It's consumed at the very moment you actually apply it. But we have to show something tangible so that the project will speak for us in terms of how, through the process of service design, a new service was created through this channel, through this medium of the tangible that was delivered by the company to their stakeholders. A lot of education needs to be done thereafter as well. So it is not we finish the project and that's it. We have to continue with that kind of conversation with them, with their key innovators or key stakeholders or project owners. Then we can continue with this. If not, if you don't do that, then it might just die off as a single project. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Pray. Do you have a question, Pray? You are on mute.
Yeah, you're muted. Can't hear you. Yeah. How do you think? How do you think artificial intelligence can help service designers, and how it can help innovation? Okay. AI is still quite new, and I think there are several service designers also wrote about AI in the area of service design as well. At this very moment, we have not tried to apply artificial intelligence yet in our practice, at least for myself. But what we are leveraging on artificial intelligence, perhaps some of the tools that we can get our participants to do. For example, most of the participants I engage with, they don't have design background, so they are not designer to start with. So drawings and visualization will be a challenge for them. So some things that we do to get them to leverage on AI, maybe DALI in terms of visualization. So that helps with them in terms of communicating their ideas to their stakeholders. And hopefully that will impact their approach in terms of innovation. But at this point of time, we have not used AI as a direct tool in terms of how we deliver our service. But I do know that it's changing. For example, chatbot, they are also going more into artificial intelligence. They are getting better now. For example, like ChatGPT, they are really good. And we're also beginning to see some of the companies might be adopting this technology in terms of their engagement with their customers. So that's my answer to your question. Thank you.
Social innovation and
Do we have any more questions? I don't think so. Thank you, Raymond. It was a very good session. I think we had a very interesting conversation, and the presentation as well. It was very inspiring. Thank you
so
for your
much.
time.
Thank you so much. I wish everyone the very best for your project work. And if you are in Singapore, Damien, or anyone, we can meet up and have a chat. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.